Hi, how are we all doing today? My name is David Eugenia, and in today's book review, I'm doing a little bit of a different angle. I'm recording in my office, as you can see, in my lovely home. In today's video, I'm going to review a book that's fairly interesting. It is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. So now, the reason why I'm breaking down this book today is because I have a whole morning routine. I have habits to learn, habits to listen, habits that make me look somewhat good, and habits that make me think better, habits that make me train smarter with my workouts. And I've realized that in life, according to this book, you are made by your habits. So if you talk about this book to any entrepreneur, any athlete or something, this is one of the books that someone probably suggested to them, or someone just was like, hey, you should read this book, suggested, or they probably read this book, and it changed my life when I read this book. There's been over 3 million copies sold, and not only that, but the story behind this book is very different. So, James Clear was a baseball player in his sophomore year of high school and got hit in the head with a baseball and got hit so hard or hard enough to where his body started to shut down. He was rushed to the emergency room, and then after that he recovered, fell into a coma, woke up from the coma and then had a recovery process. But during this recovery process, he became pretty athletic. He got better at his baseball career, never went anywhere with it. But the moral of this story, this is more detailed. He tells it at the beginning of the story, but as I open up the book here, he mentioned through this whole experience, he said, this experience taught me a critical lesson. Changes that seem small and unimportant at first will compound into remarkable results if you're willing to stick with them for years. So think about that for a second. I say that a lot. When I start making merch, I need to put that on a shirt or something. But think about that for a second. Remarkable results if you're willing to stick with them for years. So for example, making these videos, if I stick with them for years, it might pay off. It might seem unimportant now, but it'll eventually pay off. Working out's a perfect example. It might seem unimportant to do sets till failure. It might seem unimportant to squat and bench, but if you really think about it, it'll eventually pay off. In his situation, he didn't have to go back to baseball. He could have just took the L and said, you know what, I'm not going to work through my injury. I'm just going to heal and just go through the healing process and not touch anything again. But he chose not to do that. He chose to change it, and this is what inspired him to write this book and really think about habits. And the book is called Atomic Habits. What I like what he says at, I believe, the very beginning of this book, is he has the definitions of atomic and habit. So, atomic, an extremely small amount of a thing, the single irreducible unit of a larger system, the source of immense energy or power. And habit, a routine or practice performed regularly, an automatic response to a specific situation. Think about that. Automatic response. So something I like about what it said in this book on page 44, How to Build Better Habits in 4 Simple Steps, that is the name of the chapter, is he says, behaviors followed by satisfying consequences tend to be repeated, and those that produce unpleasant consequences are less likely to be repeated. So think about that for a second. Satisfying consequences tend to be repeated, and those that produce unpleasant consequences are less likely to be repeated. So, for example, the definition of insanity is repeating something and expecting a different result. I believe that's what it is. I think I said that right. It's doing something over and over and expecting a different result. So that's what it is. But if you continue to get unpleasant consequences with the stuff that you're doing, it's a little different. It's kind of like, well, why are you doing this? So the next chapter, or not the next chapter, but the next paragraph, it says, a habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. The process of habit formation begins with trial and error. It's like we read earlier, unpleasant consequences. So for example, if you're having a face washing routine to make your face more brighter or your face more clear, if you really think about it, and you get up and you forget one day, that's going to happen. You're going to forget to wash your face. Or if you have to time yourself with a particular cream or wash you're using, you might forget to time yourself. Or you'll wash your face and forget to wash your neck or wipe across your forehead. Or working out, for example. You might forget to do something that helps your muscles heal. You might forget to stretch. You might forget to do exercise. I mean, this stuff's going to happen. And you might think, well, gee, David, this is all about forgetting and stuff like that. Well, trial and error, for example, you might do something wrong in this habit to mess it up, or you just might forget something, or, even worse, you forget to do it for a whole week and you just realize, wow, I forgot to learn this habit for a whole week. I've recently been taking a street fighting class, and I've been taking it twice a week for 45 minutes. I've told myself I'm gonna really wonder or be really concerned if I forget to take that class once in a week. Like, really concerned. So, the other thing it says, and this is, as habits are created, the level of activity in the brain decreases. You'll learn to lock in on the cues that predict success and tune out everything else. So I really like how he says that. Lock in on the cues that predict success and tune out everything else. So, like with making these videos, trying to tune out the noises around me, or right now I could be watching TV and having a nice relaxing evening, but at 11 o'clock at night, this is what I'm doing due to the day that I've had. Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's when sacrifices come in, and when it comes to doing stuff like this or doing something completely different with your life, you're going to have to make sacrifices. So the next thing on page 152 is the law of least effort. That's the name of the chapter. The greater the obstacle that is, the more difficult the habit. The more friction there is between you and your desired state. This is why it is crucial to make your habits so easy that you do them even when you don't feel like it. So when he's talking about friction, he's talking about as in friction is rubbing together. It's like when you just keep going back and forth and you just keep doing that. So when there's friction between you and your desired state, it's crucial to make your habits so easy that the friction is just there and you just keep doing it even when you don't feel like it. I believe I said that and that makes sense. But the point that he's making right there in this part of the book is that you want to make it just to where you do your habits and you don't feel like it. Like face washing routine, the example I used earlier. You want to make it to where like, oh, I don't feel like washing my face, I could go back to bed. Nope, just get up and do it. Because you've already realized I go through this, and this. I go through this, and this just to get up in the morning to wash my face. And then the next thing it says on the other side is one of the most effective ways to reduce the friction associated with your habits is to practice environment design. We discussed environment design as a method of making cues more obvious, but you can also optimize your environment to make actions easier. So for example, he just said cues right there. Cues as in when you wash your face in the morning, if you're afraid of forgetting, you walk and use the bathroom, your face washing stuff is right there. It's right there for you to wash your face. With working out, for example, if you see your gym clothes or you drive past your gym, oh wow, that's a cue, I need to go work out. Stuff like that. Now, friction, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, I can't remember the example he was using for friction or why he was talking about that. But let's see here if I can find that. See, when I review these things, I need to do more research as to what I'm reading, but habits form based on frequency, not time. How often you do the habit, that is how it is formed. But, I can't really find it, but friction, as in when there's a lot of friction in your life, lots of like rubbing together, lots of things happening. If you can put your habit in there and continue to do it over and over, like friction, rubbing together, it'll just be normal. It'll be normal. You'll even do it subconsciously and not realize that you did it. Like my daytime job is working on trucks and fueling trucks. I'll fuel the truck and not even remember what I did because I'm so used to doing it. And yes, that's exactly how it sounds. I take a pump, I put it in a truck, I fuel it, charge out the truck, and that's my job. That's my main job. Alright, now the next thing on page 172, how to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. I really like what James Clear says in this chapter. The best way to break a bad habit is to make it impractical to do. Increase the friction you don't even have the option to act. So basically just fill in your good habit with your bad one and do it to where you don't even have the chance to act. So for example, this is more discipline and more sacrifice, but watching TV, for example, I've like tricked my brain into telling me, nope, do this because this will pay off more than watching that movie you want to watch. Also, when it comes to watching movies or doing fun things, it's all about how you manage your time. Because, for example, if you work a 40-hour-a-week job, there are many people who say, I don't have time to have a hobby, I don't have time to hang out with friends, and they work 40 hours a week. Or, let's say they don't, and they work like 60 hours a week, and they have that one day off, well, I don't have time. Well, during that one day off, if you start your day early, you could do something fun, you could hang out with your family, you could watch a couple of movies. It's like, it is all how you manage it. It's like with grocery shopping. People saving their grocery shopping for the weekend and they're working a 9-to-5 job. They could easily go after work and grocery shop instead of just going home and lying around. So, kind of like that. And not that lying around is a bad habit, but it becomes a bad habit to where that's all that you do. Like I'm doing this, I'm learning how to fight, I'm learning more about weight training, I'm learning about nutrition, I'm learning more about my job, and stuff like that. But habits like that, I mean, a habit I'm actually trying to build is during my rest time, during my workouts, I've been taking notes on nutrition and my fighting notes, and I want to flip through them on my phone and learn them as I'm taking rest during my workouts. But that's a harder habit to develop than I thought. I'm also trying to learn Bible verses, so always learning. Learning is a great habit to develop. So, moving on. Overall, this was a very, very good book. It really breaks down as to how to develop a good habit, because you can't just tell somebody to do it. Like washing your face, you can't just tell somebody, well, just get up and wash your face. I mean, sometimes it's different for someone splashing water in their face in the morning and washing it, and sometimes they just don't care. Like what he said earlier with his story, the small things that seem unimportant will pay off in the end. Like, the reason I bring up the face washing routine is because there are some people who don't touch their face, they don't brush their teeth, they don't do their hair, and they're totally fine with having yellow teeth, acne in their face. I'm not saying my teeth look great, but yellow teeth, acne in their face, and just hair all over the place. Like, they're fine with it. And to be honest, you don't want to be like that. My dad once told me you want to be a step above your friends and a step above your peers. If they don't keep their car clean, you keep your car clean. If they don't do their hair, you do your hair. If they don't work out, you work out. Kind of like that. But overall, I really like this book. It's one of the best books I've read. I say that about a lot of books, but this one particularly, if you want to develop good habits or good habit developing, because your habits are going to change, this is the book to read. He puts it plain and simple. He has formulas, and it is just a really, really good book. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Thank you for sitting through this video. I got kind of off topic, but I'm going to try and work on that, and I'll work more on explaining what I'm reading to you all and kind of explain it better. But I need to prepare more for these things. But I want to thank you all for watching. If you have anything you want to critique, or if you want to give me any more advice about how to be better at this, I'm more than ready, that's not the right word. You are more than welcome. No, I'm not going to say that. But just tell me anything that will help me with this channel and will help me review these books better. Thank you all for watching, and you all have a great day.